I'm an architect by profession, but a facility guy or an admin guy by passion. Admin is not a cost center, it is a revenue center. We are the backbone of ESG. I was involved in portfolios worth 200, 300, 400 crores of procurement. We have been into office designing from 100 square feet to 2 lakh square feet. No design is permanent. Designing ke beyond bhi there is life. And that life starts when you hand over the site to a client.
How do you arrive at a per seat employee cost which is high, which is low?
For MNCs, cost is not prima facie the concern. It is the ambience, the brand image, the strategic positioning of the brand. Hybrid is the trend which will run. The who's who of the co-working is also getting bankrupt.
We really like to talk about the entire vendor ecosystem.
Any Tom Dick Harry can become a vendor or a partner. The more local, the more strong you are. That lowest is not always the best.
How do you convince the management to approve your budgets?
Budgets are always meant to be cut.
Hi, I'm Ruchit Desai, co-founder at Procura and your host at the Corner Office Show. Our guest for today is an architect by education, an admin leader by profession, but a basic man by philosophy. Mr. Tanmay Khare doesn't chase the spotlight, but he ends up running everything that matters. Sometimes infrastructure, sometimes vendor chaos, whereas sometimes employee experience as well. If you think admin is a back office tool or a back office function, you'll be surprised today. And let's jump into the conversation with Tanmay Khare to find out how. Hi Tanmay.
Hi, namaskar.
Namaskar. So great to have you. After all the back and forth, finally we are able to do this. I'm really glad and thank you for joining us and giving your time for the Corner Office.
It's my pleasure.
So I want to start by asking you that career switch is very difficult in India, right? You started out as an architect, then you worked as an interior designer, and now you're head admin for a 10,000 crore plus company. So what has the transition been like for you? How did this transition actually take place?
Basically, I'm an architect by profession, but a facility guy or an admin guy by passion. So where this all started from is, this all started off when I was in my internship days. And I had the opportunity to work with one of the leading architects at that time on a very renowned telecom brand. And it all started with my internship site experience. And on the first and second day or the third day of my visit, I end up, spending the entire night at the site. Why? Because the handovers are important. And that is where I realized that this field is very much interesting rather than the hardcore architecture. So I preferred doing my internship with an extension on same corporate interior projects, just to make sure that I learn more, because it was a very energetic kind of period of my life. All of us, they like or they cherish the internship tenure that we have, because we grow with the passion to get that money and that knowledge within us. And that's where this entire corporate interior fit out dream started reality for me, because we were taught in our architectural books and our visits that you're supposed to design the building. Building is the element of human life. But when I reached the internship phase of my life, I thought, boss, designing ke beyond bhi there is life. And that life starts when you hand over the site to a client.
Right.
And the client decides ki boss, abhi to ye external stuff is done. Now what is the internal value that I add? Interior becomes the heart of a building. External, exterior, it's fine. It all defines the mass of the building. It defines the attitude of the building at times. It defines the overall scale of the building. But as a human being, when you reach up to a certain stage wherein you cross the outer borders and you get inside, it is that interior factor or the internal factor which is more connecting.
Right.
And that's what gave me a precise line in my career. And that's where the entire thing turned around. The very minute detailing on how do you deliver projects, what are the typical criterias you need to focus on after delivery of projects, because generally people deliver and they forget.
Right.
So that's where the facility perspective came into my career.
Right.
So I was involved in portfolios worth 200, 300, 400 crores of procurement. How ethically, how trustworthy, and how on-time delivery was the focus, because we were taught right from our college days, every single minute extra on site is a cost to you and a loss of your profit.
Right.
So when it comes on procurement, infrastructure and facilities, they go hand in hand. And typically they formalize the very base of admin. Because infrastructure is right from property sourcing to developing the property, getting the fit outs ready, getting all the assets in place, and next is the hygiene and upkeep and safety of those assets.
Right.
So it's an altogether a marriage of all these three basic things which are base of admin.
Right.
After these three bases or basics in place, you have a couple of more portfolios which are added. Typically your events, your travel, your compliance, and these go hand in hand.
Right. Right. It's a very inspiring journey. So, Tanmay, I really want to ask you, you started out as an intern on the bottom of the corporate food chain. And like I said, now you are leading a 10,000 crore company, you're leading the admin facilities for them. So, in terms of the scale, can you help us explain, help us understand that in terms of the number of employees or the square footage, or if you say in terms of budgeting even, how has the scale changed your management or your design approach?
See, it basically stands on one rule, which is a single site doesn't fit every individual. So we have been into office designing from 100 square feet to 2 lakh square feet is what I have done on a single floor plate as of now. It runs into multiple floor plates. The more million is the square feet available. Now, when it comes on how we design, typically what we believe or I believe is asking the why, because the why has a very critical role for you to play. Why this type of office? Why this type of infrastructure? So this helped me when in one of my previous organizations, there's a funny say, the operation guy wanted to commence a call center in Lower Parel. So Bombay is a hot cake or a hot pan, Lower Parel rates versus Thana Bhiwandi rates. It's like, Kashmir to Kanyakumari kind of journey.
Right.
So this why helped us. The entire decision on hosting a call center or a back office call center is what I would say, changed from Lower Parel to Bhiwandi. So it got us 4 or 5 critical points to analyze. One is optimizing the cost on the infrastructure, optimizing the cost on manpower, getting secure environment, developing local talent. Last but not the least, having a typical approach which says what the situation is, we will make our strategy according to it. We will not react to it. So this also helped my team members to define. So defining is in terms of the design patterns, the materials which are used, the partners which are engaged, because the more local, the more strong you are.
Right.
And typically I am of the belief, that lowest is not always the best, because the industry is being killed because of this myth.
Right.
See, everybody here is to earn some livelihood for them. Nobody is here to donate, at least in this kind of pattern in which we are working into. So scouting the right partners who are locally strong, who add a value to the project. Something like the project is to be delivered in 45 days. We have the project virtual handover on the 30th day. So we have 15 days in grace. Logically, you end up completing your project in 40 days or 35 days. So that's something which the organization is also benefited, because you complete your projects in rent-free periods. You also have a breathing time to plan your operations. Yeah, because after completing the after completing the interiors, you have the operational compliance, which is important. Uh, that planning helps, on a better execution. And likewise, all these typical patterns, as I said, one design doesn't suit always. It helped us in creating every unique design in a matter of 2 to 3 years, or even a short term of 1 year. So we used to have these cross-functional meets wherein the projections and expectations tentatively were given to us by the operation teams, and that was the trigger. I've been working with organizations who have a spread till tier 4, 5, 6 locations across India. Matlab, where you don't even get stabilized power. At those locations, running a full-fledged business, making sure that the employees are safe, making sure that the operational guys are safe, the sales team is safe, and also the premises is secure. Because there are a number of factors. The deeper pockets you go into the Indian continent, the more questions arise on the quality of construction, the safety patterns, how many safety fire exits you have,
Right.
what is the width of the staircase. At times you end up getting a hospital or a liquor shop in nearby your branches. So all these critical parameters, they affect the overall working style, and that is where this innovative or a proactive approach of admin helped us.
Right, right, right. So one size doesn't fit all.
Yes.
Be proactive rather than reactive, and generally ask why.
Very important in your critical spend, which is your expense management or the budget, because admin has always been seen as a department which spends. Logically, I personally have been working for the past 15 years to try and demolish or eradicate this myth that admin is not a cost center, it is a revenue center.
Right, right.
Why? Because with ethical practices, with right partners on board, with innovation and compliance at your top notch, you have employees who are delivering more. You have employees who are energetic. Yeah, matlab, why should people work for an organization? It is basically for 4 or 5 factors. Apart from salary, the physical environment of the office is very important.
Right, right.
It contributes to almost 60 to 70% of the output of an employee.
Right.
Also, it is 100% responsible for the condition of your assets, how well maintained they are, how conditioned or air conditioned they are, how well proactively they are maintained. And end of the day, it all is a mix. शादी का कैसे मिक्स होता है, मतलब वो टेंट वाला भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, वो क्रोकरी वाला भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, द गाय हुज प्रिंटेड द इन्विटेशन कार्ड इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट, एंड एंड ऑफ द डे एवरीथिंग इज वेल, विदाई हो गया, that's the scene.
Right, right, right. So, a professional like you, it would be great to understand from you how do you analyze factors like per seat cost, per employee cost, right? With all the dynamics in play which you just mentioned, how do you arrive at a per seat employee cost, which is high, which is low, and what is your judgment on that?
See, this is a very tricky question. It all depends on the business that you are into. Typically, if you are having something like running an MNC, cost becomes a secondary factor for you. The amenities available at the location, how ambient the location is, what all services are available at the location, they matter a lot, because per seat cost, when you say per seat cost, it has a two-way kind of approach for me. One is the places which are self-developed, or something which is like a co-working. So for MNCs, cost is not prima facie the concern. It is the ambience, the brand image, the strategic positioning of the brand, the employee, their hierarchy. But when it comes on companies which are highly focused on cost, then it is a juggle between the specifications. So it is like something, when you drill down to a co-working center or a co-working space, you are already aligned with the safety and the hygiene perspective, versus the one when you are running it in your own premises, because you are the boss there. You need to maintain everything. Co-working may, it's not your responsibility. You just pay for it and you get it. But holistically, if you say or see, co-working becomes a better gamble for companies who are not looking out for much of an expansion kind of plan. मतलब 50-100 seat maximum. So is also a big number. I personally feel not more than 50 seats. There, uh, co-working or cost per seat doesn't become a big issue. But with the current global geopolitical trends that we are having, we've seen the who's who of the co-workings also getting bankrupt.
Right.
So that's an alarming pattern also, that no design is permanent. No design pattern is permanent when it comes on workspace. You will have to continuously keep churning. Just a quick example, we came out of COVID. COVID gave us a simple system called as telephone booths. Yeah, for the privacy, for the making sure the virus is not spreading. Now those Zoom rooms or telephone rooms are of no use. So then you struggle on how you utilize them.
Right.
So now they are general meeting rooms. So that design should typically have the essence of evolving itself. And that's where admin plays a very critical role.
Right. And how do you arrive at the right budgeting? Like, how do you convince the management to approve your budgets? Or has there been cases where your budgets have been approved without any deductions?
See, budget, when it comes on budgets are always meant to be cut.
Right.
ठीक है, बिकॉज बॉस को लगता है मैं बजट काटूंगा ना तो उसको भी वाह वहीं से मिलता है ना. सो व्हेन इट कम्स ऑन cutting of budgets, admin is the first vertical or department which is, or rather which has an impact. But what I personally feel is, when you have a strategic approach towards the expense management that you have, you have easy visibility on what is your spend. You have easy visibility on what is the risk that is involved. You have easy access and acceptance. Yeah, because acceptance is very important. People lag on accepting things. You have stringent audits. You have stringent monthly checks. Because see, budget is something which is spent on your assets. It is not something which is spent typically for me or for you in specific. It is having a holistic kind of approach for the entire brand. But typically when it comes on planning of budget, very healthy practices that I have been following is forecasting. Now things have become very easy, but in our 10-15 years ago, I still believe we were trying to scoop out the forecasting patterns, and that time Excel में formula लगा के is what I still remember कि इसका हम लोग pattern कैसे study कर सकते हैं. It took us time, but we started arriving on certain formulas, So that innovation, the basic idea on playing with the data is what you require when it comes on budget.
Right.
For zero zone budgets, like some initiative coming out of no blue, or some drive which needs to be taken up, it's all depending on the management. But for your routine budgets, I guess your monthly reviews, quarterly audits, forecasting, and thresholding and benchmarking. What is the threshold wherein my budget will collapse?
Right.
What is the benchmark when my figures should give me an alert?
Right.
Yeah, there is one common trend, across admins. You will find people giving orders in the month of Jan, Feb, or March 10 तक more. Why? Because they suddenly discover out of the blue, यार अरे मेरे पास इतना बजट पड़ा है, चलो लगाओ उसको काम पे. So that's not the right way. That can be a way of bracing yourself, but not always.
Right.
So this forecasting is what helped me a lot in all my attempts.
Right.
Overshooting on budget, it does happen, but when you have proper justifications, you have proper supportings, I think no management on this face of earth will deny it.
Right. Good. So, good that you mentioned data. So, a lot of this is related to data, right? And the admin function traditionally has been an attendance keeping function, right? From that, it has now evolved to being the backbone of the workplace. So, what are the digital trends or the technological advancements that you've seen all along your career, which has played a part in changing the face of this function?
As I clearly said, we started, capturing data in Excel. One fine day, my boss said, "यार ये लेके करेगा क्या? What will you do?"
Correct.
And that was a trigger for all of us. We're like, he's right. What can we do? And that time we had no resources. There was no tech advance in India, not even in abroad. But the very basic pain point of admin was data सही से आता ही नहीं है.
Correct.
और सबको डेटा एडमिन से ही लगता है. So it is like a two sides of the same coin. Then we decided let's play it safe. Let's first have the accurate, authenticated data with us.
Correct. So, which is why I particularly wanted to come to that. Which are the metrics that you like to look at, or which are the digital tools which help you in your work?
See, typically, I'll just break it into 2 points. One is the input. Yeah. So getting the right data across is the biggest challenge. So how you get that data right? You have digitization as one of the biggest strength that Corona has given to admin. We started digitizing all our data. So logically, even a 9 turning to 6 or a 3 turning to 8 was getting captured and getting highlighted. जो पहले नहीं हो रहा था. As you said, attendance physically p. मतलब to the extent एक ही पेन से सारे पी दिखते थे. So how do you eradicate that physical intervention? And that comes with the right intent. Admin में intent होना चाहिए.
Right.
अगर तुम्हारे पास intent है to handle this change, then you can work miracles.
Right.
So we started digitizing the data. Once you start digitizing, you have a level of escalations which are defined. What does that mean? So typically, a consumption which is not anticipated, or a projection versus consumption which is way high, not accepted or not in the SOPs. These get, raised in a very matter of seconds. There you need to have a better strategy. Yeah, and that's where the play of data strategically is important. I've been preaching this, that admin is not a reactive function, it is a proactive function.
Right.
Yeah, so when you have those syncs of data and analysis going hand in hand, that is where you can easily tap what is the requirement versus what is getting delivered, and where I will be in the next 15, 40, 30, 90 days. It is the typical tenure that you mention in your reviews. But I typically believe in a monthly, quarterly, half yearly and annual kind of systems, because it gives you a better width in terms of planning your activities, in terms of making sure that the data is addressed at the right situation. Yeah, so I have something which is coming to me at the year end. Typically, when your festives are on, I know my numbers will definitely go on a rise. Typically a Diwali or a Dashera or a Christmas Eve. That time we'll definitely have some unexpected spends also. That digitization sync is what is important. And this digitization, when you run through a software, yeah, that gives you a better analytical approach. Right. Yeah, digitization is a first level screening. Yeah, मतलब चोट लगी है, किधर लगी है, पैर पे लगी है. Software or the automation is where तुम्हें पता चलेगा भाई ये चोट पैर पे लगी है, इस पे ये दवाई लगानी है या इसको ये XYZ गोली देनी है. That sync is very important. Generally what people do is they digitize, they even automate, but they fail to review.
Right.
They review when there is a SOS. So that is what I personally feel is the combination of digitization and automation. Because if these two systems are in place, your robotics, IoT, all these are, part and parcel of it.
You, you're totally right, because tech is in the end just a tool,
Yeah.
right? It's how you use it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's very well put. Now you mentioned COVID. So COVID is something that has totally changed the dynamics of the workplace, right? I wanted to particularly take your opinion on what do you think about the entire work from home versus hybrid versus office, the entire debate which
Right.
goes on. Being a professional in admin and facilities, I'm sure you would have an opinion.
I was doing a research in 2015, 16, yeah, wherein I had this gentleman from US whom I interviewed, and I asked him a very simple question. You think work from home in India will work? He's like, certainly not. And the reasons he gave me were pretty much convincing for me, So I still hold one document of mine which says by 2025, work from home will be eradicated from India. Yeah, see how things change. Yeah? In the matter of 2 years, 3 years, we had Corona. So the entire world is at a stop. And work from home emerges as an opportunity. Yeah. Now the situation is such, logically, the workforce that we have, you have millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, Z, Alpha, Beta, you name them. But the mindset is different. The mindset of millennials will not be the same for the ones at Gen X or Alpha. So when it comes on this debate on having a hybrid or a physical office, I personally feel hybrid is the trend which will run. Typically with the workforce that we have, a workforce which is tech savvy, which wants immediate solution, which wants change every day, which wants collaborative spaces, a workforce which is not much focused on those early principles of trust, loyalty, a workforce which believes my bed can be my office, a workforce which believes I need to grow. So loyalty and all those things are not my cup of tea. I am paid for my output. I am paid for my talent. Company doesn't owe me. मैं किसी का नौकर नहीं हूँ. Versus the millennials या उसके पीछे वाला देख लेना, it is like loyalty 20 साल 25 साल. So organizations will be bound to have certain factors of theirs into a hybrid mode.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned Gen Z. I wanted to understand from you, what is your opinion on hiring workforce from the Gen Z? Because these guys always, as you also mentioned, they lack the attitude of boss is always right. They're very opinionated. They're very strongly opinionated.
See, for an organization to grow, strategically, you need to have the new workforce with you because of a number of reasons. The energy they bring at the place, the color camaraderie they have at their workplace, the suggestions that they are open for. You rightly said they are not, you can't boss them, you can't control them. But you can definitely create a comfortable environment for them because the growth factor for a millennial is not the same for the Gen Z kind of individual.
Right.
Their numbers are more. Yeah. So logically it is a requirement. It is not by choice that an organization will say कि नहीं मुझे Gen Z नहीं चाहिए. They would rather or rather should say कि नहीं हम लोग को Gen Z का XYZ pattern चाहिए.
Right.
Now it all depends on the business that you run, on where you can align them. Yeah, because that alignment is very important. You typically would not have a Gen Z phase wherein you know that this service is bound to have repeated complaints. For that you need something like a calm soul, easy going guy or a lady who can listen to your customers, the cribbing daily stuff, and then hand it over to a Gen Z probably to find out a better solution. So that combination is what I feel is important in an organization.
So does your organization have the same stance about hiring Gen Zs?
Yes.
Okay, so at the corner office, we really like to talk about the entire vendor ecosystem, and we have this section called the vendor spotlight, right? So my first question in this segment is, what should a young entrepreneur or a brand or a company do, or what hacks or what tricks or what methods should they use to approach an organization as big as the one where you work at, or successfully be onboarded or work with that kind of scale?
A very touching question, because see, I personally don't call them vendors. I refer them as partners. Why? Because it is end of the day, they work for us. We manage them. The more efficiently we manage, the more productive they are. So how can you be more productive? First is the innovation that they bring on table. The something different. मतलब, a banana tree will definitely have bananas only. But what if you get a fruit every 2 months or 3 months? That is the innovation of the USP, right? So that is where the vendor perspective should focus on. Partner perspective जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं. Any Tom Dick Harry can become a vendor or a partner. But end of the day, what difference that you bring on table will make sure the longevity or the sustainability of your business.
Right.
Yeah, you have number of options available with MSME funding hai, incubation hai, all magics going around the world, in India also. But for a partner, what innovation you bring on the table, what compliance adherence you have, how equally you feel that you are the owner of the brand, because that sense of responsibility is very important for me.
Right.
Typically we judge a partner, or I, if you ask me personally, in not more than 5 to 10 minutes. Just with the type of introduction he gives, it gives you a very clear understanding बंदा करना क्या चाहता है. बंदा रिलेशनशिप बढ़ाना चाहता है या पैसा कमाना चाहता है. So you have a 3 combination for this. One is pure relationship. You just get me empaneled, I'll give my soul to the organization. That is relation. Second is पैसा. मुझे खाली एंट्री दे दो, आई जस्ट नीड टू एंटर, आई विल मेक मनी एंड आई विल गो ऑफ. आई एम नॉट कंसर्न स्पेसिफिकेशन कौन चेक कर रहा है, क्या चेक कर रहा है, व्हाट इज द सिस्टम. थर्ड इज द बैलेंस बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ देम, रिलेशन एंड प्रॉफिट.
That shows how thoughtful you are in terms of thinking about these vendor partners. So diving deeper into it, I wanted to understand that what has this side of the ecosystem done in terms of communication. So let's be honest, a lot of vendor communication still happens on emails and WhatsApp, right? So what kind of tech stack are you building, or what kind of provisions have you given to the vendor partners so that this communication improves?
See, apt use of technology is what we've been focusing upon, and at times we have been developing systems which are eco-friendly. Now what does this eco-friendly term mean? Now gone are those days जहाँ पे physical PO issue होता था. We have been working on systems जहाँ पे PO issue होता है, vendor के पास जाता है, vendor accept करता है, because that acceptance is very important. In the defined time frame, he builds on his own internal processes and strategies which are already in place. He gets the product in a delivered stage. He delivers the product within the stipulated time frames. We get, or he uploads all the compliance, because the receivables or any delivery precisely challans ऐसे कुछ रहेगा, those are a mandate for us. And post that confirmation, he just generates a purchase order which is directly fed into our system. Once all the documents are reviewed at 2 or 3 levels, the payment gets cleared. It's such a seamless ecosystem that we have been developing upon or working upon.
Right. So any Any startup in this vendor ecosystem that you're tracking, which is your favorite?
I'll not name brands typically, but see, you have innovations coming day in and out, and typically the way you guys have been working on this, I would like to mention Procura for their great work and the evolution that they have done. I know this brand for almost 7 years, more than that, I believe. But the way the overall portfolio has grown, the overall approach on innovation and ease of business.
Right.
See, business सब लोग करता है, but ease of business either wise is what the perfect traction what Procura is following upon. So typically, it's good job that you guys are doing, but just don't stop here. The next day you get up, it should have some kind of innovation in the portfolio.
Right. Thank you so much. It is really means a lot coming from you. So I want to take your opinion on one more thing. I've seen your panel discussion where you mention about glass facades. So modern designs include a lot of glass facades, which is completely opposite from traditional Indian designs, right? India being a tropical country, is it really energy efficient? What is your view on it?
See, money is important and it is the end soul to this world, is what I feel. Glass facade is a blind follow of the West, and it's logically something which is a bad vibe also in the overall ecosystem. Why? Because with this you have total eradication of bricks, mortar, the plaster, because it's a binding, it's not something which is, or rather which can be eradicated in one go. So all your slabs are ready, you just have the glass facade erected and the builder is, or the developer is through. So it has a profitable approach in terms of the developer. I have nothing against anyone, but what this ends up into, first of all is the orientation, basic orientation of your building. East, west, morning sun everybody likes to have, but not after 9 o'clock. 9 to 11 you still have sun which will penetrate into your offices. 12 से 2 कम हो जाएगा probably, but 3 से 5 is again something which is not bearable.
Right.
And typically if you are sitting in Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore might be not that harsh following the vegetation that it has, but for skyscrapers it is direct exposure. Now it brings along rise in temperature. So your HVACs, they run on more capacity, rising or giving rise to your bills. And then you start fortifying. So एक glass layer हो गया, उसको हम लोग sandwich glass करते हैं. Then you film it. Then you have roller blinds applied to it. Then you get indoor plants into it. Then you say plants को fresh लगना है तो airflow change होना चाहिए. So it is addressing a very small basic problem to something which is like from a mole to a mountain is what you speak. I think it is something like that, So I'm not against glass facades, but typically there should be a mix and a better orientation and a planning at the initial stage is what I feel will reduce this.
Right.
So you have courtyards, you have fire staircases. Your main staircase block can be something which can be a collaborative space for you if you consider it as a multi-storied building. Because all your tenants, they are using lifts. End of the day, your staircases, main staircase, they are void. Nobody is using it. You can have a interactive space used out of there. I will not say you have a physical space designed, but a virtual space can be created. You can have people interacting out there. And likewise, the flow or the integration of indoor and outdoor becomes a very, very, very prime, consideration when it comes on handling people. And as you rightly said, we need to come up with solutions. So I was there in this panel discussion in Pune, when I had all the developers with me, and suddenly it came out like करना क्या है, क्या कर सकते हैं. So I've been continuously focusing on one word: intent होना चाहिए. There's this developer who says, who gets up and says, all our buildings are having some portion of theirs which is no glass, and that is purely based out of the orientation study. So 9 बजे सनलाइट कहाँ से आएगा, 4 3 4 बजे 5 बजे तक कहाँ से सनलाइट आएगा, what is the factor when it comes on rains, because certain directions the rain pattern it changes, and there he says we are trying to address it, we are not giving a complete foolproof solution, but intent is zaruri hai, because we are already sitting on a stage wherein the damage is already done. Now we need to cut, paste certain portion of it and make it more efficient.
Right.
So let's focus on that.
Right, that's a great perspective. I've never seen anyone give me this perspective on glass facades, but it's true. To solve one problem, you're coming up with 5 more problems.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now to move away from the serious conversations, we do a rapid fire round. And my only request is that be very precise with your answers and try not to be diplomatic.
Okay.
So, according to you, optimum days of vacation an individual should have?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so you're a 4 weeks a day kind of a person.
Yeah.
4 days a week, sorry. Which is your go-to news app to stay updated?
CNN and Al Jazeera, because
Okay.
I get a mixed view out of both.
Right, right. Weirdest excuse you have heard from a vendor?
Weirdest excuse, मुझे PO मिला ही नहीं. I don't get the PO.
Right. Fair. क्या बोल सकते हैं फिर उसके?
हाँ, so I am showing him मेरे sent item में है, because I get a sent item notification once it is routed through my portal. The portal says the PO is delivered on this date. He says मुझे मिला ही नहीं.
Right. Weirdest admin request or a complaint made by an employee?
रोड बंद कर दो. Close the road.
Wow. Nice. Industrial and brutal design or green, subtle and comforting design?
Green, subtle, comfortable.
Right. iOS or Android?
iOS,
Cheap cost or quality?
quality.
Quality. Can you be a likable boss or a boss that gets the work done?
Boss that gets the work done.
Would you rather coach a CEO or coach a fresher?
I would prefer coaching a CEO.
One thing that always mysteriously disappears from the office.
Mysteriously disappears, generally pen होते हैं.
And optimum daily working hours?
Not more than 4 hours.
And how many of that should be productive at a decent level?
No, I see 4 hours productive in the entire cycle, because बाकी के 4 आप time pass ही करते हो.
True. And what a great way to end the rapid fire. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I wanted to understand and ask you to talk about Crisp, that beautiful, colorful badge that you're wearing there. If you can talk more about what Crisp is and what are you doing for at Crisp?
So typically Crisp is a new baby formalized in 2018. The very basic intention, as you rightly asked me, what is the future that we bring on for the young professionals coming into this industry? And a very critical point or the intent जो हम लोग follow किया था is it's high time we give back to the industry.
Right.
You go outside, you give speeches, you do conduct workshops, you draw study materials. That's fine. That's one level of effort that you put into. But what is the face or what is the voice when it comes on addressing the issues of the professionals in the industry? So it is not only the compliance related issues, but it is the behavioral issues also, because this function, this vertical goes around 24/7, 365 days. With this common intention, we had a very beautiful thought. What is this entire thing related to? उंगली 5 ही क्यों है एक हाथ में, 10 क्यों नहीं है?
Right.
So we figured it out to, boss, this entire universe is working on 5 tattvas. And every tattva is related to admin in one or the other sense. Or at times all the tattvas are playing role in one single premises or game, I would say. That's where Crisp was formalized. So we are a not-for-profit Section 8 registered company, typically working on building a better platform for the admin and FM professionals. Now, admin professionals or FM professionals have a wide range. Your legal, IT, all HR, all are some ways or the other related to us. Now, what does CRISP do? CRISP is one of the leading voices in terms of the Indian subcontinent. So we are a strength of 3,500 plus members across India.
Wow.
Singapore, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. And our goal is not the mass, but the class.
Right.
Yeah. So getting more members on board is not our intention. We are not interested in that. We want a gang of leaders to be present out and lead the budding professionals across. So our vision is clear. We want to make a impactful presence in the overall infrastructure and services category of the corporates. We intend to build the foundation of this. So what is the foundation? Your education system. So we've been successfully enrolled, partnered with government bodies, government institutions, universities, private universities, to make sure that this function is respected and this function is registered. So we help universities in running courses which are certified or guided by CRISP and its board members, or the lighthouse is what we say. Apart from the education system, it also becomes our moral responsibility to address the current areas of the professionals. So how do you do that? So we formalized just before COVID, and COVID was our first hit. So we were one of the leading associations to commence with webinars for admin and FM professionals. So we commenced our systems with CRISP webinar, CRISP talks, wherein you get specific gyan is what I would say, subject matter expert people speaking about it. Hard and highly calibrated sessions. You will not find typical topics being discussed in our CRISP talks. We had something like a CRISP khula manch. So people getting frustrated, people wanting to vent out, sitting at home, corona mein kya. So we started this khula manch wherein people started discussing here. I saw a parrot. This is a live example, which parrot coming to my terrace, and now every day the group of herd क्या pack of parrots जिसको हम लोग बोलेंगे, they visit every day, and now my wife, she started giving them some food, and it is so energetic to see them that it has changed my perspective of life. So उसको यो बंदे को बात करने के लिए कोई forum चाहिए था. So खुला मंच is that forum we have. We have cruise jugalbandi. So what is jugalbandi? It is a discussion of masters. So people who have or people who are stalwarts in the industry. So stalwarts are very selective. Not every retired guy can be a stalwart for the industry, but something who's done extensive work, exclusive work. They interact on how they did it and how the journey was. So it becomes a very learning exercise for all the leaders who are trying to visualize themselves as stalwarts. Well, unless until you don't visualize yourself, you can't follow it.
Right.
It's not a mandate that you follow it, but you should at least have some critical parameters with you.
Right.
So CRISP, Jugalbandi is one of the initiatives that we drive.
Right.
CRISP Tea Talks is a quick discussion. Something which is like, you say, boss, this is my pain area, how can we drive it? A discussion of 25 people over a cup of coffee, some snacks, we are through.
Right.
But it creates the cohesiveness, the collaboration within the industry. And last but not the least, the CRISP conclaves that happen. So our conclaves are not something like a fish market, not a venue where you get freebies of awards, but something which is a one notch above kind of knowledge session for me. Me as a professional.
Right.
It is 100% by invitation. So you will not find multiple entries from the same company just to fill the venue. Selected 75, 100, 125. is our limit. We capped 158 last year. That was following the demand. But a very limited audience by invitation, a focused approach, a theme-based approach, which has been one of the very success areas for Crisp.
Right.
Because the knowledge that you gain, even it's a two-way kind of engagement. We have partners who are limited on board. We have partners who are really doing good stuff in the market. We have partners who are from the MSME market also. So we have diversity factors. So our recent, initiative is Crisp Wings, wherein we have a lady force of admin and FM professionals across the industry in India, ready and committed to develop new women leaders in this fraternity, because at times this industry was governed by men.
Right.
And we highly believe in DEI. So how we engage women into this industry, how we engage the physically disabled people or people with special attention in this industry. You can have them engaged in this industry for certain specific jobs, but that awareness is missing. So we try to create that awareness.
Right.
We have a Crisp travel club and a Crisp consultants, so all the people who have retired from the industry, you have almost 500 to 600 years of knowledge bank. And post-retirement, it becomes a very difficult job for people to engage. So we've commenced this consultancy-based engagement for all the people who are retired. So that brings on the connectivity in the industry, that brings on the golden era which these guys have seen, because they've seen the job scarcity, to market crashes, to wars, to COVID, and to all the negative things that are impacting the entire industry. So how they try to figure out is what is important, and we bring it on table through Crisp.
Right.
Typically, Crisp is by, of, and for the service professionals. That's a very typical approach that we follow. And I would conclude my Crisp say by giving our tagline. We say engage, explore, expand. So how does it connect? You engage with us, you explore. So you exploring might be your business, might be your professional career, and expand. So the journey is continuous improvement. It doesn't stop here.
Right.
So that's a clear message we intend to give. And been fortunate enough to see Crisp growing in a very different direction, wherein people anticipate what we think and people resonate to what things we do.
Right.
And they actively participate. So that's the best thing that we can have.
That's some great work that you're doing, and I've already seen it grow, and I wish you all the best to
Thank you.
grow it as much as possible in future, because a non-profit organization for the professionals of the industry is something that is not an easy job. Plus, it is not for someone, a professional like you, to remove your time and put in efforts to actually build it.
It all comes out of passion.
Right.
It all
And
comes out
I'm
of
sure
passion.
it does. Otherwise, it was not possible without any kind of passion. Yeah. So finally, to end it, thank you so much. This has been very insightful. This has been a great conversation. I've been hooked to what you've been saying. I did not expect to learn, sympathy, empathy, being grounded, being always respectful, asking why. So these are some of my key takeaways immediately, as if I could say. So thank you so much. Lastly, I would like you to tell us and the viewers what has been your experience like.
So first of all, thank you, Procura, for this wonderful session. I would say keep doing such good things, because the industry needs it. Yeah, and spreading of best practices or knowledge is what will make this industry more powerful.
Okay. So thank you so much, and we'd like to end it here. And thank you for giving your time. And I'm sure the audience would find this very insightful.
Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, comment, and share this with an admin or a facility management professional that you know. Also, if you want to see more episodes and more conversations from business leaders from the Corner Office, please subscribe to the Corner Office Show.